Policing in Britain continues to be absolutely ridiculous, mostly because police officers don't even know their own laws. In this video, we're going to show you a clip, and it's very important to see because the police continues to arrest people in the United Kingdom for carrying cash. Yes, because they've been told out of context a few years ago we have a law in place that the police can seize cash in case you're doing money laundering or drugs, without knowing the details of the actual legislation. This is completely fascinating. This police officer, I'm going to show you the video, is saying, you don't know the law, I know the law. I actually feel sorry for the police because they have to keep up to date with all these stupid laws that politicians come up with every 10 minutes, and they're all confused. Nobody knows exactly what they're doing. For example, before I show you this, people have been defending the police. Someone said on social media, it's correct, that's been the law for decades. If you're carrying a large amount of cash, money, and you're unable to account for how you got it, it will be seized. Pretty simple, really. It's not really. I'm going to show you the video, but before we do that, let's talk about the legislation very quickly. Alright, Section 294 of POCA allows seizure of cash only if the officer has reasonable ground for suspecting it was stolen or for use in crime. Courts have determined that possession alone is not a reasonable ground. Angus versus United Kingdom Border Agency was the perfect precedent. Now, the police are wrong. Let's quickly go to the video.
Yeah, go on, Phil. You don't know the law. You don't have to have drugs on your money seized. You don't have to be involved in a crime.
You do?
No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't know the law. You don't know the law.
A UK police officer claims that carrying over £1,000 in cash is grounds for money laundering. Sounds ridiculous, right? But what unfolds next takes an even more surreal turn. And trust me, you're not prepared for how quickly this escalates. It all begins with a simple, reasonable question. On what grounds are you seizing my money? But the response? Alarming. The officers don't reference any evidence. No crime, no drugs, just the amount of cash. Their logic? If you're not employed and have more than £1,000 on you, they can take it. That's it. No further justification, just cash and suspicion. The man stays composed but firm. He challenges them, asks under what law they're acting. Suddenly the officers start scrambling. Their answers loop in circles. They can't cite a crime because there isn't one. Instead, they shift tactics. We don't need drugs to seize your money. And that's when the situation takes a darker turn. They decide to detain him. Why? For a drug search. Still no evidence. Still no probable cause. But now he's being taken in because he dared to understand his rights better than they did. Then the female officer arrives and everything changes. She doesn't de-escalate. She intensifies the pressure. The intimidation ramps up. And if you think it can't get worse, keep watching. You'll see just how quickly your rights can be twisted when laws are vague and unchecked authority is at play.
Back up because there's cash in the car. There's over £1,000 to be seized.
Yeah, no, it's mine. Seizing it for.
Yeah, over £1,000 you can seize it. Don't money laundering, anything over £1,000.
Money laundering.
But if you can prove that it's yours, whatever, it's no problem.
Does it, yeah?
But he's just going to check.
So what grounds are you using for money laundering?
You just anyone over £1,000 you can have because if you haven't got a valid reason to have it, you don't work, you've got £1,000.
You don't have to have a reason to hold money.
Well, we can seize it and we can investigate why you've got £1,000 cash, and then you can, and you can, if you can prove it, you just get it back.
Yeah.
But you're obviously it's an investigation. We'll have to get interviews about it.
What are you investigating?
Why you've got £1,000.
There's no law against saying anything like you got £1,000.
Well,
you've got to have a reason to investigate
yeah, well, we believe that you've £1,000.
What do you believe?
I believe that it's linked to drugs myself.
Oh, do you? And what grounds have you got to believe that?
Well, that's what we'll investigate, won't it? We're going to sit you down and get
drugs. Have you found any drugs?
Over £1,000. If you've got over £1,000 in your car, we can seize that under money laundering.
If I have drugs on me,
No, you can seize any of that. That's different. No, that's a Proceeds of Crime Act. That's different. That's a proceeds of crime.
Do you understand what an act is?
But if you had drugs on you now, the money would be seized as part of the drug dealing. Proceeds of crime. This is money.
So
this is money laundering. No, we can't seize it for you to prove why you got £1,000.
I don't have to prove anything. You have to prove that I've done something wrong. You do. Innocent shall prove innocent.
We'll take it, and then you can discuss all that later. We'll give you your Form A's. Don't worry about it. We'll all get investigated. That's if you've got over £1,000. You might not even have over £1,000. That's why we can't seize it.
It's roughly about £1,000.
Well, we'll find out now, won't we? How much?
875.
There you go, it's not over £1,000. But if it's over £1,000,
I don't know
you
the
could-
law, study law. You know,
Oh yeah,
8
yeah. Well,
years,
you'll know then over £1,000 we can
qualified,
seize
trained.
it. You know that then, don't you?
Yeah, I know that.
So
Yeah.
we can seize it, and then we,
Yeah,
you have to.
no, you have
no,
to
we
have
can't.
reasonable
No, we don't.
grounds
We
to
can
seize it.
£1,000
Yeah, if you
and
find drugs,
But
right,
we don't-
or
no, no,
anything
it's not
connected
drugs.
with
You don't have
crime.
to- no, you don't have
Listen,
to,
it's
you
got
don't
to be a
have to. You don't
crime.
have to.
Listen,
You
I'm
don't
not
have to.
arguing with you. Go
We're
on, you
on
carry
film.
on.
You
Carry
don't
on,
know
yeah.
the law.
Oh, I
You don't
do.
have to
Oh, I
have. You don't
do.
have to have drugs to have your money seized. You don't have to be involved in a crime.
You do.
No, you
You
don't.
can't
No,
seize
you
anything.
don't. You don't know the law. You don't know the law.
You
Go
don't-
home.
don't say the
You
Bill of
don't.
Rights.
Go home.
No more
Go home and
questions.
study the
No more
law.
questions.
Because I'm saying that
I've
on
been
on
studying
camera.
law for
You
8
do
years.
not know the law.
Yeah, well,
You don't have
go
to
look
have
it up and
drugs.
you'll find
You
yourself
don't.
incorrect.
No, you were incorrect and you look very silly. I hope you show all your friends. I hope you post it on Facebook
So
and also
stop
everyone
waving your
can
arms
say.
about. You might catch me in the eye.
I'm not going to catch you in the eye.
You're swinging
But
your
what
arms
I'm saying
around.
is,
You're
you
acting
don't know
like
the
a
law.
crazy lady.
When you go
You're
home,
acting like
when
a
you go
crazy
home,
lady.
you
You're
research the
acting
law.
like a crazy lady.
You don't know the law.
You don't
do
know
not
the law. You
law.
haven't got a
No.
clue what you're enforcing.
I've been in
You
a job
haven't got a
17
clue.
years. You haven't
Yeah,
got a clue,
you're
mate.
enforcing
You've
policy.
not got a clue.
Enforcing
Stand over.
policy which is against the law.
No, you don't know.
No, I do. Trust me.
Embarrassed when you find out.
Oh, you will be embarrassed when you find out. So where's that money? She put it back. Oh, she got it.
Your wallet?
Yeah, come on, that look.
No, that's something. You're going to come with us, mate. We're going to have to move your car, though. Have you got the car key on you?
Yeah.
We're going to have to move the car for you. Okay? You're going to be coming in for a drug search, okay? For you detained at the moment. We'll take you down to the Wheel Custody Suite. It's all on camera, obviously. We'll do a drug search with you. If you're negative, then obviously you'll be released. If you're not negative, then we'll have to do it a bit in other ways, okay?
All right. The reason I showed you, I told you about the actual context of the law before the video was this. Because if I had shown you the video, a lot of people emotionally would be like, yeah, that kind of makes sense. Yeah, the police, they just, have to just decide on the spot without actually having any real evidence for any money laundering or any drug activities, some sort of evidence. That's why I had to explain the context beforehand. Also, let's not forget that in the United Kingdom right now, obviously, I understand that a lot of people are still facing a cost of living crisis and everything else like this. But because of inflation, because of everything else, £1,000 cash carrying it is not a lot of money compared to 2002 when they came up with these sort of ideas. Now, if you're carrying £10,000 and there is some sort of suspicions that you have been in certain activities, absolutely the police has every right to investigate that. But right now, the whole thing is a completely bit of a mess, and people need to know their rights. That's why actually we've come up with an idea. Now that we're back from Israel and we'll be working on our documentary in Israel, we're going to be adding more things to 2CTV Plus, our independent platform, which you can find here, 2C.tv. One of the original 2CTV Plus series that we're going to work on now is called Know Your Rights. And we're going to do this, obviously we're going to put it on 2C.tv. The link is also in the description. I think a lot of people need to understand exactly what rights they have and what rights they don't have when you're encountering the police. People need to understand if the police is approaching you or if the state in general trying to bully you, in what situation is the police and the state right? And in what situation are you right? Because a lot of times they just scare you off and people just surrender their rights. You need to know your rights. Anyway, well, we're going to keep you guys posted on all this nonsense. And as I said, we're going to work on this new series on 2CTV Plus. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Maya 2C, and we are the media.